Welcome to State of Affairs. I'm Steve Adubato. We are, in fact, coming to you from the NJTV studio. That's the Agnes Varus NJTV studio. Pleased to welcome Senator Steve Oroho, Republican from the 24th Legislative District. That would be Morris, Sussex, and Warren counties?
Yes, it is.
We've talked to you many times.
Steve.
Good to see you, Senator. Let's get into the fiscal. If you had to give New Jersey's fiscal state, our fiscal state, a grade, what would it be?
F.
Come on. That was too quick.
F.
Why?
I got to tell the truth, right? Because one of the things is New Jersey hasn't had real, honest discussions about where the real state of the state is for many years. Now, our assets, I'll give it an A. But so can we get to an A? Absolutely. And we've been at an A within the last, call it 25 years.
Okay, last couple of years with Governor Murphy. His grade on the economy and the fiscal state of New Jersey. Don't say F again.
I won't say F.
No, you can say what you want.
No,
but
agreed. I'll give. I tell you what. I'll give him a D+.
What's wrong about it, and then I will talk about what's right.
Well,
by the way, we'll give the governor an opportunity not just give himself a grade, but give the state a grade. We'll talk about his fiscal policies. We continue to work with the governor's team on trying to schedule that. Go ahead,
but also
Senator.
the F goes way back. It's not just this administration.
Democrats, Republicans?
Democrats, Republicans. You look right down the thing, Democrats, Republicans have, it's basically, that's the most bipartisan thing they've done, you know, down in Trenton.
Is screw up our state finances?
The finances, because there wasn't an honest discussion of either what the debt levels were, or we've had the discussion about the Transportation Trust Fund, and we're having the same discussion, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but the pension and
Let's
healthcare.
get right into it.
Yeah.
In fact, we have Senate President Steve Sweeney. We're taping that program today as well. The Senate President is going to be talking about, quote, the Path to Progress report.
Right.
You were part of that.
I was.
What is that report, and why is it so relevant to the discussion we're having on the fiscal state of the state?
Well, first of all, Senator Sweeney had asked Senator Sarlo and myself.
Paul Sarlo, who will be right after this interview, he'll be coming in.
Is a good partner on it.
He's a Democrat, you're a Republican.
Correct. He's the chairman of the Senate Budget and Appropriations Committee, and I'm the Republican member on the Republican side. And what it was after, obviously, with the Tax Reform Act that had come out, the state and
excuse me, you would be referring to the Trump federal tax reform.
Trump federal reform
that would only limit our state deduction, income tax deduction, and our property tax deduction to a gentleman that you supported for president.
Yeah.
10 grand in a state like New Jersey. That hurt us.
No, that did hurt us. But at the same time, is it something that we have to bring our costs into control? That would be the argument from that standpoint. And that's been on the plate for a long time.
Top recommendation.
Top recommendation is the 800-pound gorilla in the room happens to be the pension and health care costs.
Of public employees.
Of public employees. Now,
we're making progress, but go ahead.
We are small amounts. We're making progress. However, when and it's not against the employees or anything like this. If you look back, I said Republicans and Democrats, administrations over the past 25 years, have basically it's been debt, spend, and hide. Don't tell them about the situation. We won't make the contribution.
State contribution to the pension fund.
But or we'll take a pension holiday, and quite frankly, they take the pension holiday, and government said, well, it'll help property taxes.
By the way, be clear, a pension holiday is not a holiday. It means the government's not going to put any money into the pension fund. That's called a holiday.
Yeah,
some holiday.
Well, that's how they talk about it in government, right? They're not putting money into the pension system, and they think, well, that'll help property taxes. All it did was get filled in with other programs. All it did was get filled in with other, quote-unquote, services that everybody thought was really important. Property taxes didn't go down, and so now we've been dug into a real deep hole. So, was it the employees' fault? There was, in the public unions, they acquiesced to many of these things. They went along with many of these actuarial changes, which we can put people to sleep talking about actuarial things.
The Communication Workers of America, who represent the largest number of state public employees, the New Jersey Education Association, an underwriter of public television, and what we do.
It wasn't really their members,
No, but they were part of this as well.
Sure.
They acquiesced, as you said, but you're saying it's not enough. None of this is enough.
It's not. Well, first of all, if you take a look at how much, just to get that to where we should be putting 100% into what the actuaries say we have another 3 years to go. It's another $3 to $4 billion.
Senator, let me ask you this. One of the areas that I know you want to talk about, and it's important to us as well, state school funding formula.
Right.
State provides dollars to public schools,
Right.
which is based on a formula. That impacts local property taxes as well. You've now tied this to the school lunch program, and I don't get the connection.
Well, first of all, the school lunch program is run by the federal government, by the Department of Agriculture. They just want to feed hungry children, and we do too. The key to New Jersey is it connects to a major part of school funding. The free and reduced lunch program connects to what people would consider those are the at-risk students, all right?
Okay.
And the at-risk students will get anywhere to, say, $5,000 more per student in the formula itself, all right? So where maybe the lunch may cost $2, if a parent has signed up for the free and reduced lunch, that school system is probably going to get close to an additional $5,000 per student.
Where's the money going?
Well, what happens is many times, say in my district, many parents think that there's a stigma associated, there's a pride factor. They won't apply. But in other areas, parts of the state, you've seen it in Elizabeth, that we've just, the second time around.
We had a problem there.
We had a problem where people fraudulently applied. People who very know what the repercussions were, they applied, and their school was getting funding that they shouldn't have gotten.
But you make it sound like that's a widespread problem as opposed to an isolated situation in Elizabeth.
Well, it is. Well, we don't know. We don't know how big the problem is because here, and this is really the controller did a report and showed that it is significant. The state controller did a report a bunch of years ago and said it is definitely a problem. Now, by law, if you even find, you can only audit, and I'm a former auditor, 3% by federal law. So our recommendation, the Senate Republican recommendation is this: why don't we change it? We have no problem if there's at-risk or low-income student. Some of those are going to need additional money. Why don't you fund it based upon something that can't be manipulated?
Which is?
Which is Title I funding, which is based upon the census, as opposed to a parent's application or somebody else's application. So therefore, you still have the at-risk, but that's how you should fund it.
Before I let you out of here, you a fan of President Trump's?
I am. You look at the record. You look at the stock market. You look at the economy, and so I'm a financial advisor. That's what I do outside of the legislature. And when people have jobs, that's when they're.
The only other follow-up to that, respectfully, Senator, you've always come with a certain demeanor. You conduct yourself a certain way. You're never involved in name calling. Yeah. I don't even know if you're on Twitter. But the reality is this: the tone and tenor of our discourse in the country and how the president's contributed to it?
I don't like.
It's not the only one.
On many sides.
He's not the only one.
On many sides, that I don't like.
Don't say on many sides. That could be misinterpreted.
But
there are many people, but the president hasn't helped, in your view.
No, true. I mean, quite frankly, I like the way Ronald Reagan did it. Ronald Reagan was
a gentleman all the time.
He was a gentleman, but he could tell somebody,
yeah,
I know where you're going.
I know
and
where
look
you're
forward
going.
to the trip.
This is public television.
I know. Excuse me.
Always a gentleman, Senator Steve Oroho from the 24th District. I want to thank you for joining us on State of Affairs.
Thank you very much. My
pleasure. Well done, Senator. Thank you.
you.
Stay with us. We'll be back with your colleague, who you say you get along with,
I
but
do.
we'll find
Paul's
out.
a good friend.
Senator Paul Sarlo, right
Senator
after this.
Sweeney, too.
Yes, we'll do that as well. We'll be right back.
My husband and I spent more than 30 years in the public schools. We're retired, but we like to stay involved.
Do you think he's going to learn to fly?
We're just as busy now as in our teaching days. The same goes for a lot of the retired educators we know.
Let me see you all flap your wings like your penguins learning to fly.
Teaching is all about building relationships, and that never goes away. Because once a teacher, always a teacher. We're Ed and Miriam, and we are proud to be New Jersey educators.
Also brought to you by International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 825, the Turl Fund, supporting right from the start NJ, and by Keystone Mountain Lakes Regional Council of Carpenters. Your future is in our building.